Hey, what's up guys? It's your fitness trainer Joey here, and I am going to start our Tactics Explained session going over the basic, the 4-2-3-1, my favorite tactical formation to go, my favorite formation to talk about, the one I feel I've learned the most about and I know the most about, being with my time playing in Germany, being with my time playing in England and in Denmark as well as Mexico. I feel I have the best understanding of all the formations that are out there right now. I feel like the 4-2-3-1 is the best one. So let's first go over how it originated. So as you can see from most, or if you go back in time for a while, especially back to Brazil in 2002 when they won the World Cup, they had the biggest formation was the 4-4-2. So we'll mark those, the 4-4-2 here with some X's. You obviously have the keeper back here. We're going to just quickly mark these out with some poor X's. You have a defensive mid right here. You have an offensive mid right here. You have two wingers. And you have two forwards up top. So that's essentially the formation. So teams would line up like this against each other, and there was a desire to have a little bit of a tactical advantage, and I feel like the 4-2-3-1 gets that. So instead of lining up against them like so, what they decided to do was to take advantage of what gaps they had and leave gaps open, as well as something else that we will see later on. So let's line up first. We got still a back four. The back four is still considered a very solid line here. So one thing you'll notice right away with this back four is it's a 4-on-2 here. So that's the first big part about the back line here. There is a 4-on-2, allowing for these defenders to essentially keep possession. You've got the goalkeeper here with 3. Yes, there are 2 pressuring, but you also have 2 options out wide. These 2 outside wingers not going to be able to do that. Not going to be able to cover all the way down. Now, to add to these numbers, you have 5 midfielders essentially with the 4-2-3-1, sometimes referred to as the 4-3-3, but a little bit more defensive. So you'll have 2 wingers or 2 defensive central midfielders here. So as you bring this guy right here into the game, you also add 2 more players. So now you're having 3 defenders covering 7 players. So you have 7 players to keep possession and move forward. This is a very possession-based style. Up front, in front of them, you have a forward from this position that moves back. So we can see already that this position, this guy in red here, has dropped back. Let me quickly switch this around. So he has dropped back here, and this guy has slid over in these formations, and then one of these forwards has taken the spot here. So that's what's gone on so far in this formation. Now, what else happens as these players move around? Let me quickly go ahead and shift over to blue and bring in the 2 wingers. So now you've got 2 wingers here who don't play all the way up. Obviously, in a 4-3-3, these guys will be further up. In a 4-3-3, these guys will be up towards here, and up further ahead towards here. And that will be more of your 4-3-3 design, but we don't have that. We are in a 4-2-3-1, so these guys are back, which also leaves these guys in a little bit of a no man's land here. So if they go, then what they'll end up doing is leaving their back line in a 4-on-5 situation to go forward and potentially pressure. Obviously, as you can see here, you're still outnumbered coming through. So even if these 2 guys come into the attack here, you have, instead of a 7-on-3, it's a 7-on-5, but then you're leaving your back line exposed, especially along the wings where these players can do a lot. You have this winger here, you have this winger here, and you have an attacking mid, and essentially they have retreating guys, to get back on the ball, but then you have this one guy here protecting your back line, and then obviously you have your center forward up front. Your center forward generally has to be very well, has to do a lot of things that most forwards do not tend to do. That it's definitely your classic number 9, performing all the roles that you would want a forward to perform and more. So let's go ahead, let's get rid of all these other lines here, and let's keep our blue guys in here and show you the benefits of having it and how they keep possession and how you can keep possession in a system like this with some quick lines going through here, so showing everything. So we are going to switch over to green, or sorry, not green. We can go with an orangish colors to help show everything. So what we see first here are triangles and diamonds. That's a very important, that's a key part to keeping possession, is to establish triangles and establish diamonds. That way you have multitude of passing angles, and a triangle you can keep the ball against one person, and diamonds you can keep it against 2. There's always an extra option there. So when the ball starts at the goalkeeper, let's go ahead and switch over here, get ourselves a black color to indicate the ball. So the ball is right here. So when the goalkeeper has it, what you can see is one of these defenders will drop off here, and another defender will drop off here. So that gives him a triangle through here, already starting up while he has the ball. Then these players will move a little bit up as well, and giving themselves a little bit of width, so that now, as it splits out, 1 or 2 forwards cannot fully cover them. You have a little bit of an outlet here, and you prevent these wingers from coming in. So if one of the forwards steps to the ball here and he plays it wide, so if a forward steps and the ball comes over to him here, that winger is not instantly closing him down because he still has this guy to worry about. Obviously, you want your keeper to be able to play a little bit with his feet, but you have the options here. Another thing that happens is one of these 2 midfielders, let's say it's the left defensive mid, will slide in right about there to provide some cover. So now you get another triangle and another diamond that's created. So now the goalkeeper has this option out here, this option out here, this option here with the defense or the center back, this option here with the center back, and this option in the midfield. So he can play diagonally, he can play to the sides, and he can hit long. So you've already kept possession through there. So let's go ahead, let's undo all of these. So now what happens when he plays it out of the back? Let's say this center back gets the ball right here. Now what happens? Now where do our players go? Well, obviously this guy is up here. So we'll let's quickly go ahead. Let's erase him. Let's erase this here. Let's erase our X here. We're going to erase our player, and we are going to reassert where they are. So now you've got center back with the ball. You've got your outside back here. Now where else can we go with this? Well, we can bring up our other center back. Obviously will not stay where he is. He will be moving as well. So he moves in. He will slide in a little bit here around this spot, opening up yet another triangle. This center back will not stay where he is. He will slide up a little. He will slide back to right around here. And now you see lots of diamonds here. This center mid will move over, provide some support. We've got our winger moving around. We've got our defensive mid will not be there. So our 2 defensive mids. So these are all positions that come in. So our outside winger will pop up right around here. This is where he's going to pop up. We're going to have a defensive mid pop in here. Our other defensive mid will be pushed up a little bit. And now we have our center back right around here. apologies before, our outside mid will not, our outside defender will not be there. Our outside defender will be a little bit higher, about even with the other center back. So now what's this opening up? This is opening up options to get out. So he has himself a triangle here. He also has himself a triangle through there and a triangle back to the goalkeeper should he decide. So now you've got a second triangle here with this defensive mid in. This winger coming back opens up a diamond right here to allows them to open up. And then you've also got yourself a diamond here. But what that also opens up as well is it keeps that diamond shape no matter where it goes. So if the ball goes into this outside mid over here, there's still a diamond for him to play out. He can still go back, he can go forward, he can go here. This center mid or the attacking mid can drop into this spot right here, and that will open him up for another diamond as well to play out of, it going forward if you want, or going backwards. If it goes here, if the ball goes to this center mid, this attacking mid comes in as well. So now you open up yourself with another diamond through here. You're keeping yourself some triangles. He comes in here. You have a triangle in the midfield. You have a diamond. This outside back comes in a little bit, and you open yourself up with a diamond with this other defensive mid. So you can go here. You can go back. You've got yourself a triangle there. You've got yourself a diamond with where he's supposed to be outside. So you have a lot of ways of building out of the attack. And that's the very important thing for them to do offensively. Once you have the ball, it is a very possession-oriented system. It's very possession-oriented on how it builds up. So now what we're going to do is look at a little bit of defensively before moving into next videos, which will be more specific on the positions and their roles. So we're going to go back to our red. We're going to set up a 4-4-2 here, and we are going to show you how this team lines up defensively, how it counters a 4-4-2, the classic 4-4-2 with an attacking mid and a defensive mid. Obviously, it can change up depending on what you have, but this is one of the this system, a 4-4-2, I feel is easily taken down by a 4-3-3 simply by what it offers and what it can bring to the table. So let's get these wingers a little bit wider just so that we can show how things work here. So how it works defensively. Defensively, this is obviously for more of a high pressure. You're going to have your center forward in here cutting off and showing play. So this player in here will show some things with the orange color again. This player in here will cut this back line along a line here. Might bring it all the way down to this defensive mid. So over here, wherever the ball goes, if the ball goes over here, this line is crossed. This makes play very predictable for the rest. So this center forward, unlike what you see in a 4-4-2 here with players just attacking, this player makes it very easy. This forward makes it very easy, cutting right down the middle, keeping play to one side or the other. His job is not to win it back. His job is to make everyone else behind him very easy to win the ball back. So next, we have our attacking mid. Our attacking mid usually is right around this guy for defensive purposes. I'm going to say he is right here. His job is to take this guy out of the game. So what that essentially means is that you have your forward drawing the line to him, and now this attacking mid cuts him out of the game. So any chance that red has to play it to him here and then play their way out simply will not happen, because this attacking mid right here keeps the ball on this side of the field or on this side of the field, because that linchpin out is completely gone. Next, depending on your style of play and how you're going to attack, some teams go more defensive, some teams go more offensive. So offensive, you're going to have your 2 outside mids right around here. And what this will allow you to do is this will allow is once these center backs get it, they don't have an easy outlet here. They won't have an easy outlet to come out wide. Those players are going to be marked, obviously, by he's going to be marked by him right here. You can't this center back can't easily distribute the ball here because this player is cutting him off as well. So what does that mean? That this offensively, you use this offensive pressure to force the center backs to be playing balls. So center backs can't, so far, the center backs do have options. They can outlet here, they could potentially outlet here, they can outlet here, or they can hit a long ball towards their forwards. So right now, as an offensive pressure, this is what we're getting. This is what we're giving up. This is what we're pressuring. We're making these center backs play the ball. Generally, in a game, early on, the people who could not play balls, the people who you wanted the ball on their foot the least are the center backs. That's still the case today. Obviously, they have a little bit more time, but you generally don't want them here playing long balls. Long balls are something you can easily win. So, if, however, you're playing a more defensive style, let's say your center backs are actually very good ball playing center backs, they can keep the ball, they can play longer balls accurately, then you're going to sit your outside mids, sorry, let me get this straight line, you're going to sit your outside mids further back. So right back here, you're going to allow these center backs to play it wide. Now what you're doing here is you're keeping these outside backs moving and going wide, but you're not allowing them to beat you down the middle. So obviously if you have them playing it wide here, that just keeps it further away from your goal. You have the outside clogged up, and you have this nice little thing on the outside here called the end line. The end line is defensively, it is very much your friend. It will help keep them out, and you can force them towards that end line. That's an extra defender. That's exactly where you want them to do. You're also forcing these outside backs to play, and they're either playing down the line or they're playing in the middle, whereas these center backs can play left, they can play right, they can play straight down the middle. It makes the play a lot more predictable, and it allows your players to cover more spaces than they normally would. So let's say our attacking mids are further up. We want to make these center backs play and play the ball. So we're up here. Now where does everyone else fit in? Well, you've got your two defensive mids, and how are they going to line up here? Well, if the ball is out here, this center back has it. So what we're essentially doing, we've got our center forward here cutting off the line all the way through here, so you can't play it through. This attacking mid is completely shutting down their defensive mid. This attacking mid is closing, or this outside mid is closing there. This outside mid is, with the ball on this side, this outside mid is slightly cutting in, cutting back, potentially taking out this player behind him in any potential ball, but not completely keeping himself away from closing up here. So now what do we do with the ball out here? What do we do with our two defensive mids? Well, since it's on this side, we would normally have two defensive mids right here. This first one would go up, and he would close the position right in front of him. We've got, he would want to first come up and close this guy down, and their next defensive mid would want to come and close here. Why are we doing that? Because the ball is on this side. If the ball was on the other side, if the ball was over here, then you'd obviously have this defensive mid closing down here. This defensive mid would come into here, and this outside mid would jump back a little bit, but we do not have that. So let's go all the way back here. Let's show how it lines up. So you've got this first defensive mid coming in. He is closing him down, but he still stays towards the middle. Now, why he does this is because we don't mind them so much having the ball out wide. The ball out wide here, if they're able to make that pass, if they're able to break our pressure, we still can draw back. You know, you've still got this guy right here who can help close down if that ball gets out wide. And your attacking mid can still drop in a little bit while still keeping an eye on this his defensive mid here. This guy can close back, and you also have your other defensive mid close by as well as your back line. But if we get beat to the middle, if we get beat into the middle here, now you've got trouble. Now you don't have attacking or wingers closing back. You're going to have to rely on this attacking mid to maybe close down, and you've got to bring your other defensive mid over to potentially help, and that turns into a numbers loss where you're bringing 5 in the midfield to have a numbers win. So you want to keep him in the middle but still closing down so that this ball played from here is still going to be a difficult pass for this outside mid. Remember, this center forward is not trying to win it. He's trying to make it predictable, but he doesn't just stand on this line. He's going to arc his run around. Let me see if I can arc this better. He is going to arc this run around so that he's still applying some pressure, so this center back doesn't have all day on the ball, but his most important thing is keeping this line. So now you've got a difficult ball there, but the other one that opens up is a potential over-the-top ball or through pass to him right here. So that's where our other center mid comes in and holds this down. He will be placed right in here. He can be right on the guy's back, or if you don't want him there, if you want to be more aggressive, he can be right up here. We don't mind. If a center back under pressure sees this pass and can play a ball and have it lay in right into this area right here, then there's not much we can do about it and we can readjust. But obviously, the likelihood of that happening is very non-existent. So playing him anywhere around here, we'll put him right there, right on this guy's side. This also helps him cover for any of the positions ahead of him. He's allowed to be there. He can be there. So now where do we place our center backs? Well, our back line, I should say. Well, our 2 center backs are going to be covering these 2. You don't want to give up behind you, so they're going to play right on their backs. This is a very difficult ball, very hard for any center forward in the world to control, especially when you're this close. And you've got your 2 outside backs. So ball side, this outside back, this left back is going to want to push up a little bit as well. This allows for, if that ball gets along the sideline here, you obviously have this guy closing down to help in case he turns back. But if he turns forward, you have this outside back right there ready to close down as well. That turns into a trap. You've trapped them in this space. When they thought they were out, you get it back and it's predictable and you've won the ball back. That's exactly what you're looking to do. But then you also have this outside back comes in and perhaps closes down here. In some of this situation, you might even bring you might even have this work out a little bit differently. You obviously have this center back right here. The next center back might push in a little bit, potentially covering for both of them, and then you'll have your outside back come in here, and then have this outside back here. This brings the outside back, since he doesn't have immediate responsibility. He can still, while the ball is in the air, traveling in the air and getting over to this guy here, while the ball is in the air in that time, you've got this guy to potentially come back and close him down. This outside mid here can come back and close down as well, but there's also plenty of time for him to make up that ground and step to and win that ball in the first touch. This defender easily just slides over while that ball is in the air. This defender slides over and fills his role in the middle of these 2 center backs, and then you have this outside back closing down and coming back in to mark in. You have a lot of options covered, especially in a basic 4-4-2. You match up essentially the same in a 4-2-3-1 going against other counter systems, and that's what allows the 4-2-3-1 to essentially function. So these are all things that most coaches will see when they set up in a 4-2-3-1. That's why the system is so loved, so played. You see it on the international stage in Germany. You see it in Holland. To an extent, you see it on some English teams. You'll see it in Mexico. You'll see it in the US. You'll see it a lot of places, and it's simply because it's very easy to work around. Once you have it, once you've taught the system well, once you have everyone set up, then the system is very easy to do. So that's why a lot of people like it. That's why I like it as well. I think it covers a lot of ground, and this is the first step, the basics. So in the next video for this series, let me quickly go ahead and clear everything off. Make sure to leave a like while I'm doing this. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more of this info here, and make sure to comment below how much you or anything new that you might have learned while watching this series. So next time we will be dissecting, or for the next few videos we'll be dissecting each and every position and how they function on the field. There will be a total of, let me quickly set these up here, because some players' responsibilities will be the same, just kind of overlap or side switched. So the next video will be on the wingers. The wingers are the ones that are very difficult for people to understand, especially attacking wise, how to always create an opportunity for a goal scoring or always create goal scoring, and it will show how this functions for them. So we've got this as the first video. The next video will be on this attacking mid. Our third video will be on the forward. Our fourth video will be on these guys in here, the heart and soul of the team, the motor that drives it forward. Then we'll work on the outside backs in our next video. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we will have a video on the center back. So there will be a total of 6 videos coming up after this, describing each player and how they will do in the formation. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that. And I've been the fitness trainer Joey. I hope you learned something today, and we'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.